NASCAR heads back to the Lone Star State, my home track of Texas Motor Speedway. I'm now joined by Ryan Stevens of wintherace.info. Ryan, I feel like I'm one of the only race fans excited to be at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. It's been a rough stretch of races. I think Bristol left a lot to be desired. There's a lot of controversy around the Talladega package. Maybe I'm just happy to be at a traditional-ish intermediate track. How excited are you for Texas this weekend?
I'm excited. I think we have gone through a rough stretch here, and people are feeling that. So I think we're ready to go out and see the fastest cars, produce a great race here at Texas. It's been more exciting than people, I think, remember over the last 2 or 3 years. So I particularly don't dislike Texas really anymore. I think it's a fun race, and especially when you go through the stretch we just went on, I'm pumped to see the fast cars out there, leading the pack. So it should be fun.
Yeah, if you didn't get your big one fix at Talladega, don't worry. Texas Motor Speedway has become a wild card race the past few years. There were 16 cautions in last year's 400-mile race alone. I looked it up. In the next-gen era, they are averaging 14 cautions per race. So, sketchy racetrack. We know about the reconfigured turns 1 and 2, but last season, turn 4, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, among others, crashed in 3 and 4 last season. 7 different drivers led 10 or more laps in this race 1 season ago. So, I don't know. I want to know what you think, Ryan. Do you think Texas is sort of kind of the next wild card race?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there's a couple things that you can relate to, I guess, Talladega even, where tires don't matter. You're going to see a lot of differing strategies. So track position is going to be key. It's very hard to pass. We just saw it when Byron led a million laps in a race. He gets put back, 4 or 5 spots, and he can't pass anyone at that point. So it's just the nature of this car right now. You also have elite drivers who are always fast here, and they struggle to find consistent finishes in other ways. Whether it's, Larson comes to mind, loses a tire, or, he wrecks out quite a bit. Whether those are his fault or not, in 17 Cup races here, Kyle Larson only has a 35% top 10 rate at this track. So, you think of the guys who are consistently fast like him and in contention to win. You come to this track, he's, the heavy favorite to win the race. But, when he's only finishing top 10 35% of the time, it's definitely super speedway-esque when you talk about these elite guys.
That's interesting because when I think intermediate tracks, I think Hendrick Motorsports, but you're right. Kyle Larson, I think last year led over 70 laps in this race, but he had the pit road issue, got caught up in a wreck. I keep using this word to describe Texas, but it's a little sketchy out there in Fort Worth. But speaking of Hendrick, Chase Elliott won this race last year. This was his last points-paying win. It's been roughly a year. I talk a lot about Chase Elliott on my show because he's 4th in points, which you look at and say that's a phenomenal season. But he ranks 15th in laps led. He ranks 10th in stage points earned. The speed is good, but it feels like everything has to go right for this team to contend for a top 5 finish. Do you think Chase Elliott is a realistic pick to maybe defend his Texas win this weekend?
Well, he's either getting really lucky or he's really good at just staying out of trouble and finding these good finishes. So when we look into the numbers, in my true performance scores that I have on Win the Race, I have him 16th in this package. Greg does his incident adjusted speed, has him 14th in this package, but he somehow has the 7th best average finish in those races. So he's finding a way. I think his 2 best assets this year are not really related to that speed. It's what you're talking about. He's either getting lucky, that could be, that could always be something and it could regress. But also too, we have to respect that he's staying mistake free, and he has a lightning fast pit crew as well. So a good fast pit crew, staying mistake free, and you can find yourself in those good positions to finish well.
Yeah, he definitely has a good team around him. There's been an odd uptick in speeding penalties this year, but I looked it up earlier. He still, I believe, does not have a DNF this season. So, like you said, he is avoiding the catastrophic issues, the catastrophic mistakes. I want to go back to Kyle Larson for just a moment. Like I said, last season, he led a lot of laps at Texas, didn't get a great result, but you look at recent mile and a halves. He won at Homestead Miami Speedway. He led the most laps at Las Vegas. should we expect Kyle Larson to once again have the fastest car this Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, he's a slim number one favorite for me in my pre-practice and qualifying scores that I do. And he led 99 and 77 laps here the last 2 years. His finish is obviously not indicative of how awesome he was in those races. And he did have an incredible first year with Hendrick. He came in, led almost every lap here and won. But since then, we talk about it. He hasn't finished better than ninth here in the three races since. But, it's hard. You can't just say he's not the favorite. He's going to be fast. He's probably going to lead some laps. Uh, and he's number one in my true performance scores in this package in 2025. So he is showing up fast everywhere. I would expect more of the same from Larson. He's just got to stay clean and get that finish.
Easier said than done. Well, that's enough Hendrick talk, I think. I want to transition to talking about Team Penske. Obviously, Austin Cindric winning Talladega just a few days ago. Who would have thought that Josh Berry and Austin Cindric would win races this season before Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney? I want to ask about Penske because Blaney led some laps here last fall but crashed. He's been good at Texas in the past. He won the All-Star race here with the window net controversy a few years back. That was in the next-gen car. Do you expect to see Blaney and Team Penske run well this weekend, or are you kind of expecting them to be an afterthought?
No, I think Blaney has to be the one we have our eye on heading into the weekend. He's consistently been one of the only drivers who can pass other cars in this package this season. Been very fast. He's second best in my true performance scores that I talked about, and also second best in Greg's, incident adjusted speed that we do on Win the Race as well in this package. And like you said, he's also good at Texas. Over the last 2 years at Texas, he hasn't finished a stage one outside the top seven or a stage two outside the top four. So he's
Wow.
there. He just hasn't had the finishes, kind of like Larson. The finishes just aren't there. This season, he's had terrible luck. Terrible luck. So I don't know if this is the place to, get rid of that bad luck. It seems like it could be tough, but maybe, things regress and it's a positive regression and he will get some luck this time around and get that finish. He's been running up front, and he's fast.
That's a great point you made about especially the long run speed we've seen from him at intermediate tracks. I mean, I think at Darlington he had the best car. Caution at the end did not fall his way. I think Homestead he may have had the best car before he blew up. So similar package, similar track type. Look for Ryan Blaney maybe to stand. I'm just waiting for him to break through. It's shocking he has not won a race yet this season. A lot of misfortune has gone his way. We'll wrap up kind of back where we started here. We mentioned how Texas is sort of a wild card race. So with that in mind, Ryan, who are some possible surprise picks? I think about last season, Michael McDowell was racing for the lead when he spun and crashed. Ross Chastain was running second on the final lap when he got tight and then got spun. So who are some picks? Who are some teams that might shock us on Sunday, do you think?
Well, I want to talk about 2311, just because, like RCR finished 1-2 here back in 2020. Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick right behind him. Reddick won in 2022, the first year, Gen 7 era. And 2311 has back-to-back top scores in my true performance scores at Texas, 2023 with Bubba, 2024 with Reddick. So I think 2311 is definitely worth mentioning here as favorites. And, they've both been very fast this year. Bubba, especially, he's been a very big, I don't want to say a surprise because we expect that team to be fast, but he's running up their top five in this package quite often. But if we get back to a sleeper, so we'll go further down the list because, like you said, this is a fun track, could be a little sketchy. I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar here. He won his last truck race at Texas that he raced, and he's pulling the double duty this weekend too, racing an Aspire truck again. I always love the drivers that get to go out there, twice in a weekend. In his only two cup starts here, he has a 16th place with LMC and then a top 10 last year with Spire. So he's had some horrible luck and finishes in this package in 2025, but he's running almost 50% of his laps inside the top 10 in this package this year. It's a sneaky eighth best in this package. So he's aggressive, he's running up front, he's shown speed at times, and we've seen what track position can do in this package. So if he can just find his way up front, maybe a late restart, or maybe he's just there in the front anyways because he does show up with that speed, I think Hocevar could get it done this weekend.
I like that. That's some really good data. I did not realize his finishes at Texas, even with Legacy Motor Club. You said 16th at Texas. I mean, that's
Yeah.
extremely impressive considering how young and inexperienced he was then. Yeah, Carson Hocevar is a really I feel like he's a popular pick at a lot of tracks, but this weekend, man, I like the way things are shaping up. Maybe a big weekend for the young guy. Ryan, awesome stuff as always. I'm glad I was able to find another person on the internet that shares my enthusiasm for Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. We're a hard breed to come by, but fans watching at home, as always, you can find more of Ryan's great work at wintherace.info. Fantasy betting, if you're just into NASCAR data and analytics, Ryan, Greg, and the whole team have you covered. Ryan, appreciate you doing this this week, and have a great weekend. We'll have you on the show again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your home race.